Imagine standing in front of a mirror and noticing that the texture of your skin has changed in a way you never expected. The fine lines that once appeared only when you smiled now seem to linger throughout the day. The skin around your eyes feels thinner. The firmness along your jawline is not quite what it used to be. Many women assume this is simply the result of getting older. But here is the surprising truth. Much of what is labeled as aging is actually the result of a very specific biochemical shift that happens beneath the surface. And it is far more modifiable than most people have ever been told. Today, we are going to explore one of the simplest and most overlooked tools for supporting your skin as you move through your 50 seconds, 60 seconds, 7 seconds, and beyond. Castor oil, but not castor oil by itself. Because while castor oil is deeply nourishing, soothing, and anti-inflammatory, using it alone may cause you to miss out on the very effect most senior women are actually looking for: a noticeable improvement in collagen quality, elasticity, hydration, and wrinkle reduction. And here is the most important part. There is a second oil that, when combined with castor oil completely, changes how your skin cells respond. It does not just moisturize, it influences the biology of your skin in a way that supports collagen production, calms inflammation, and improves the skin barrier that often weakens with age. Before we get into the specific oil combination, I want to set the stage by explaining what is really going on inside the skin of a postmenopausal woman. Because your skin is not aging randomly. It is responding to shifts in hormones, mitochondria, circulation, inflammation, and even liver health. When estrogen declines, for example, collagen production drops at a rate that surprises most people. Skin thickness can decrease. Hydration can fall. The tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the skin slow down. That's why many women notice that their skin changes rapidly in the first few years after menopause. At the same time, oxidative stress increases. Think of oxidative stress as tiny sparks that damage proteins, including collagen. And when collagen fibers weaken, wrinkles become more visible. Elasticity decreases. Healing slows down. Many women try creams, serums, or even procedures without understanding that the deeper issue is not on the surface. It is inside the cell. It is inside the mitochondria, and it is inside the dermal layer where collagen and elastin are actually built. The beauty of castor oil, when paired correctly, is that it works with these deeper layers. It supports circulation. It enhances nutrient delivery. It calms inflammation. And with the right companion oil, it helps stimulate fibroblasts, the very cells responsible for building collagen. Most people do not know that skin oils can act almost like messengers. They can signal your cells to upregulate healing pathways, repair oxidative damage, and strengthen the barrier that keeps moisture inside your skin rather than letting it escape. What we are going to cover in this full lesson is simple but powerful. We will break down the biology behind why senior skin becomes thinner and more delicate. We will look at how oil combinations influence collagen from the outside in. We'll explore what research suggests about certain fatty acids that support wrinkle reduction. And we will outline a complete protocol that you can start using today at home. It is non-invasive, it is natural, it is inexpensive, and it is rooted in the physiology of how your skin actually heals. So stay with me, because in a few moments you will understand exactly why castor oil alone is not enough, why mixing it with the correct oil can create a noticeable change, and how this simple practice can help you nurture your skin in a way that feels both scientific and deeply nourishing. And if this kind of clear science-based teaching is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you understand your body at a deeper level and to give you real tools you can use right away. To understand why the right oil combination is so powerful, we first need to look at what is actually happening inside the skin of a postmenopausal woman. Because the changes you see on the surface are only the final expression of a deeper shift happening at the cellular level. And once you understand that shift, you will understand exactly why castor oil alone is not quite strong enough to meet the needs of senior skin. Imagine your skin as a living fabric. When you are younger, this fabric is tightly woven. The collagen fibers are thick, springy, and well supported by hormones that signal your cells to repair themselves every single day. But as estrogen declines, the tiny machines inside your skin cells that produce collagen begin to slow down. Fibroblasts, the cells that weave collagen and elastin, become quieter. Their metabolic activity decreases. It is almost as if the workers who once kept your skin firm and resilient begin to take longer breaks. At the same time, blood flow suddenly decreases. The capillaries that once delivered oxygen and nutrients with ease begin to narrow. Less oxygen means less energy production, and less energy means slower repair. When your mitochondria, the powerhouses inside each cell, begin to weaken, your skin simply does not have the fuel it needs to keep up with daily wear and tear. This is why fine lines turn into deeper lines. This is why the skin becomes thinner, and this is why moisture escapes more easily. Now, here is where castor oil enters the picture. Castor oil contains a unique fatty acid called ricinoleic acid, which has natural anti-inflammatory properties. When applied to the skin, it increases circulation in a way that is gentle but meaningful. Think of it as waking up the sleeping workers. It encourages more blood flow, more nutrient delivery, and more oxygen to the cells that desperately need it. This alone makes castor oil incredibly valuable for aging skin. But there is a limit. Castor oil is excellent at preparing the skin. It warms it, it nourishes it, it supports circulation, but it does not strongly signal the fibroblasts to increase collagen synthesis. It sets the stage, but it does not deliver the direct message that tells your skin to tighten, repair, and rebuild. That is why many women notice that castor oil helps with softness and hydration, but not firmness and wrinkle reduction. To create a visible change, especially in senior skin, you need an oil that can speak directly to the fibroblasts, the collagen builders. You need an oil that contains the right blend of fatty acids that mimic the natural lipids your skin loses with age. And this is why mixing castor oil with a companion oil becomes such a game changer. The companion oil strengthens the barrier, supports collagen, reduces oxidative stress, and gives the fibroblasts the raw materials they need. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your skin as a garden. Castor oil is the rain. It hydrates the soil and wakes things up. But hydration alone will not grow new flowers. You need nutrients, minerals, and a signal to grow. The second oil is the fertilizer. The second oil is the fertilizer. It delivers the building blocks and signals the cells to repair. When you combine both, you create the ideal environment for regeneration. Now that we have laid the foundation how castor oil prepares the soil, it is time to introduce the companion oil that tour at preparation into real skin repair. The oil I recommend mixing with castor oil for senior women is rose hip oil. This is not a random choice. What the research shows and what makes rose hip oil uniquely suited to aging postmenopausal skin aligns exactly with the biological needs we described. Here's what's really going on inside your skin when you use rose hip oil and why it matters, especially after menopause. Rose hip oil is rich in essential fatty acids, including linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid, and also loaded with natural antioxidants as well as vitamin precursors that support collagen production, MDPI plus 2, Healthline plus 2. These nutrients do much more than moisturize on the surface. They help provide the building blocks that your fibroblasts, the cells that weave collagen, need to do their job properly. MDPI plus 2, Mosaic plus 2. Let me use a simple analogy again. If your skin is a garden, castor oil is the water, rose hip oil is the fertilizer rich with nutrients. Water alone keeps things from drying out, but without nutrients, the garden will never grow new plants. Together, water and fertilizer, you create the conditions for regeneration. In fact, clinical observations support this pairing. A pilot study applying rosehip oil to the skin of older adults showed improvements in wrinkles, skin elasticity, and overall skin texture. MDPI plus one other research emphasizes that by supplying antioxidants and collagen-supportive nutrients. Rose hip oil helps reduce oxidative stress, those tiny sparks inside cells that damage collagen and supports recovery and renewal. Yokin plus 2, Mosaic plus 2. So, what is a practical protocol? How should you combine castor oil and rose hip oil at home to get these benefits, especially if you are a senior woman concerned about firmness, wrinkles, and hydration? Here's a suggested approach. Use cold-dressed unray. Find rose oil, ideally in a dark glass bottle, to protect its nutrients to ensure maximal potency. In the evening, after cleansing your face gently and while skin is slightly damp but not wet, pour a small amount of castor oil into your palms, add a few drops of rose hip oil, for example, roughly 4 parts snorts castor oil to 1 part rose hip oil. though you can adjust based on skin sensitivity and how your skin responds. Warm the oils by rubbing your hands together, then gently massage into your face and neck using upward strokes, focusing on areas where skin feels thinner or shows creases or wrinkles. Allow the oil mixture to absorb overnight. Consistent nightly use for several weeks, at least 4 to 5 times per week, is likely needed for visible improvements. If you're going outside in the morning, follow with a broad spec tea trim sunscreen. The nutrient-rich oils and vitamin precursors may make skin more responsive to light, especially if you also use vitamin-rich topicals. By combining these two oils, you are not applying a temporary cream. You are delivering nutrients and signals to your skin cells. You are giving your fibroblasts the raw material to rebuild collagen, while castor oil improves circulation and nutrient delivery. And because this approach works with your skin's own biology, instead of masking a problem with chemicals or heavy synthetic creams, it is natural, gentle, and sustainable. Before we go any further, we need to talk about one of the most important forces driving visible aging in senior skin: oxidative stress. This is a term many people hear, but very few truly understand. And yet, if you have ever wondered why wrinkles deepen, why firmness fades, or why the skin seems to lose its glow, oxidative stress is often the central explanation. Here is what is really happening beneath the surface. Every day, your skin cells produce energy. That energy production creates tiny byproducts, almost like sparks from a fire. When you're young, your skin has powerful internal antioxidants that neutralize these sparks instantly. But as you move into your 50 seconds, 60 seconds, and beyond, those internal defenses decline. The sparks become more frequent, and over time, they begin to burn the very proteins that keep your skin firm. Collagen is especially vulnerable. Once oxidative stress damages collagen fibers, they become weaker. They flatten, they lose elasticity. And when that happens, wrinkles become more visible and the skin begins to sag, particularly in areas like the jawline, the cheeks, and under the eyes. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your collagen fibers as the springs inside a mattress. When the springs are strong, the mattress stays firm, supportive, and shapely. But when those springs rust or weaken, the mattress sinks. It loses structure. That sinking effect is very similar to what oxidative stress does to your skin over time. The springs weaken, the structure collapses, and the surface reflects that change. Here's where the castor oil and rose hip oil combination becomes so valuable. Castor oil increases circulation, and better circulation means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more repair. But circulation alone will not stop oxidative damage. That is the role rose hip oil plays. Rose hip oil is naturally rich in antioxidants and contains compounds that support collagen regeneration. It helps neutralize these damaging sparks before they destroy the collagen fibers responsible for firmness. Think of castor oil as the messenger that wakes up the repair system, and rose hip oil as the protector that shields the collagen from ongoing damage. When used together, they help the skin rebuild from two directions. Castor oil supports the flow of nutrients. Rose hip oil protects the structural proteins from breaking down. The result is a gradual improvement in texture, firmness, and evenness. Now, let us make this practical. How do you use this combination specifically to counter oxidative stress in senior skin? One effective method is to apply the oil blend in the evening. When your skin naturally shifts into repair mode after cleansing, massage the mixture gently into areas most affected by fine lines or sagging. Leave it on overnight so your skin can work uninterrupted. The key is consistency. Oxidative stress accumulates daily, so your defense must also be daily. Many women notice their skin becoming more hydrated within the first week. Firmness, however, requires time because collagen repair is slow. With steady nightly use, most people begin seeing improvements after several weeks, with more noticeable changes after 2 to 3 months. And if this kind of clear, functional explanation is supporting your understanding and making these concepts easier to apply, consider subscribing. I post daily content designed to help you use natural science-based strategies to support your health from the inside out. Now that we have explored how oxidative stress weakens collagen and how the castor and rose hip combination helps defend against that damage, we need to look at another crucial layer of senior skin health, the skin barrier. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of aging skin. And when you understand it, so much of what you have noticed in the mirror finally makes sense. Think of the skin barrier as the protective roof of your home. When the roof is strong, everything inside stays protected. Moisture stays in, irritants and pollutants stay out. But when the roof becomes thin or develops small cracks, water leaks out and dust comes in. The structure inside begins to wear down more quickly. This is very similar to what happens in senior skin after menopause. The skin barrier naturally becomes thinner. The lipids that once sealed in hydration begin to decline. Water evaporates more easily. The skin becomes drier, more delicate, more reactive, and more prone to wrinkles. Most people respond to this by applying heavier creams, thinking the problem is dryness. But the deeper issue is that the barrier itself is weakened. Here's what is really going on beneath the surface. The outer layer of your skin, called the stratum corneum, is made of tightly packed cells surrounded by lipids. In younger skin, those lipids are abundant and strong. But in senior skin, the lipids decrease. The cell walls become less resilient and moisture escapes. This leads to a cycle of dryness, irritation, inflammation, and accelerated aging. This is where the castor and rose hip combination becomes uniquely powerful. Castor oil, with its thick and nourishing consistency, acts almost like a sealant. It helps lock moisture into the skin. But while castor oil seals, rose hip oil rebuilds. Rose hip oil contains the exact types of fatty acids your barrier loses with age. When absorbed, these fatty acids help restore the lipid matrix, strengthen the outer layer, and improve elasticity. Together, they do something neither can do alone. They rebuild the barrier while preventing water loss at the same time. Let me illustrate this with another simple analogy. Imagine you are repairing that damaged roof. Castor oil is the tarp you place over the roof to prevent water from leaking out, giving immediate protection. Rose hip oil is the set of new shingles that rebuild the roof itself, creating lasting strength. When you place both together, the home is protected now and restored for the future. That is exactly what this combination does for senior skin. Practically, when the barrier becomes stronger, 3 important changes occur. First, the skin holds moisture far more effectively, making it appear smoother and more plump. Second, irritation decreases because the skin is no longer as vulnerable to environmental triggers. Third, healthy cells beneath the surface can focus on repair rather than constant protection, which is essential for collagen rebuilding. Here is a simple protocol to strengthen your barrier using this oil combination. After gently cleansing your face in the evening, leave the skin slightly damp. Mix the castor oil with rose hip oil in your palms. Warm the mixture and apply it using slow upward strokes. Pay extra attention to the areas where your skin feels the driest or most delicate, such as around the eyes, mouth, or jawline. Allow the mixture to absorb overnight and avoid washing your face with harsh cleansers in the morning. A gentle splash of water is usually enough. Use this routine consistently. Senior skin responds best to daily nourishment, not occasional treatments. Over time, the barrier becomes stronger, hydration lasts longer, and fine lines become less pronounced, simply because the skin can finally hold on to moisture and repair itself properly. Up to this point, we have focused on the surface of the skin and the layers just beneath it. But now we need to connect all of this to something far more foundational, your internal metabolism. Because no matter what you put on your skin, if your internal environment is working against you, the results will always be limited. Senior women often assume that skin aging is caused only by loss of collagen or declining hormones, but in truth, your skin is a mirror of what is happening inside your cells, especially inside your liver, your mitochondria, and your circulatory system. Here is what is really happening beneath the surface. As you move through your 50s, 60s, and 70s, your mitochondria, the tiny engines inside every cell, become less efficient. Why produce less energy and more oxidative stress? This means your skin cells have less fuel to repair collagen and restore elasticity. If the fuel is low, repair slows down. The skin becomes thinner, weaker, and more prone to fine lines. This is not merely a surface issue, it is an energy issue. At the same time, many senior women experience subtle insulin resistance, even if they are not aware of it. Elevated insulin creates inflammation throughout the body and directly damages collagen. It stiffens collagen fibers, weakens the skin barrier, and accelerates wrinkle formation. Think of insulin resistance as a slow leak in your skin's rejuvenation system. Every day, a little more collagen breaks down, then gets rebuilt. Your liver also plays a major role. The liver is the organ that filters toxins, regulates hormones, and manages the fats that build your skin barrier. When the liver becomes sluggish, which is common with age, inflammation increases and nutrient absorption decreases. The result is a cycle where the skin receives fewer building blocks and more inflammatory signals. Now, you may be wondering, what does all of this have to do with castor oil and rose hip oil? Quite a lot, actually. The topical routine supports collagen production from the outside. But when you combine it with internal metabolic support, the results multiply. Your skin becomes more responsive, more resilient, and more capable of repairing itself. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your skin as a house you are restoring. The oils are the workers repairing the outside walls. But if the electrical system inside the house is failing, the workers cannot use their tools. The interior and exterior systems must work together. When your mitochondria are strong, your insulin levels balanced, and your liver functioning smoothly. Your skin responds more quickly. Fibroblasts become more active. Collagen becomes stronger. Inflammation decreases. So how do you support these internal systems naturally? There are 3 simple steps that senior women often find transformative. The first step is to lower sugar intake and avoid grazing throughout the day. When you eat constantly, insulin remains elevated. A gentle fasting window, such as finishing dinner earlier in the evening and avoiding late-night snacking, gives your body time to lower insulin, reduce inflammation, and activate repair pathways that benefit your skin. The second step is to emphasize nutrient-dense foods that support mitochondrial energy, such as leafy greens, eggs, salmon, and foods rich in omega fatty acids. These nutrients help rebuild the lipid barrier of the skin from the inside. When your cells have the raw materials they need, they can produce smoother, firmer, more hydrated skin naturally. The third step is to support liver health. Even small changes like reducing alcohol, increasing hydration, or adding foods like lemon water, cruciferous vegetables, and herbs that aid detoxification help your liver process hormones, fats, and toxins more efficiently. When the liver works better, inflammation decreases and your skin begins reflecting that improvement. When you pair these internal strategies with the castor and rosehip oil routine, you are approaching skin health the way the body actually works, from the inside and the outside simultaneously. This is how you create deep, lasting changes in firmness, texture, and radiance. At this stage, we have explored how senior skin loses collagen, how oxidative stress accelerates wrinkles, how the barrier weakens, and how internal metabolism influences everything from firmness to hydration. Now, it is time to bring all of these pieces together into a complete practical routine that is simple to follow and grounded in real physiology, the Foundat. Ion of this routine begins with the nightly oil application. Mix castor oil with rose hip oil in your palm, roughly 4 parts castor oil to 1 part rose hip oil, though you can adjust slightly based on how your skin responds. Warm the mixture in your hands, then gently massage into your face and neck using upward strokes, paying particular attention to areas where wrinkles are most visible or the skin feels thinnest. Applying the oils to slightly damp skin enhances absorption and ensures that hydration is locked in. Consistency is key. Aim for at least 4 to 5 nights per week. Skin repair, especially in senior women, is not instant. Collagen synthesis is a slow process, and visible changes typically appear over several weeks of regular use. Think of this routine as a long-term investment, not a one-time fix. Next, support the skin from the inside. Start by adjusting your eating patterns to stabilize insulin levels. Avoid grazing throughout the day and consider a gentle fasting window in the evening. This allows your body to lower insulin naturally, reduce inflammation, and activate cellular repair pathways that support collagen production. Focus on nutrient-dense foods that help both mitochondria and fibroblasts. Include leafy greens, colorful vegetables, eggs, salmon, and other fatty fish. These foods provide antioxidants, omega fatty acids, and amino acids needed for skin repair. At the same time, reduce excess sugar and refined carbohydrates, which increase oxidative stress and damage collagen. Hydration and liver support are equally essential. Drink adequate water throughout the day and include foods like cruciferous vegetables, lemon water, and liver-supportive herbs. A healthy liver improves hormone balance, reduces inflammation, and ensures that your skin receives the nutrients it needs to function optimally. Finally, remember the importance of sleep and movement. Quality sleep is when fibroblasts are most active, oxidative stress is naturally reduced, and repair processes are maximized. Gentle movement and exercises that increase circulation, even a daily walk, enhance nutrient delivery to the skin, complementing the effects of the oil routine. By combining this nightly oil application with internal metabolic support, hydration, sleep, and circulation, you create an environment where your skin can rebuild collagen, restore firmness, reduce wrinkles, and strengthen the barrier. This approach is natural, safe, and grounded in science. You are not simply covering symptoms. You are addressing the root causes of aging skin and supporting long-term skin resilience. If this comprehensive approach is giving you clarity and actionable steps, take a moment to imagine implementing just one of these changes tonight, massaging your face with the castor and rose hip oil combination. This simple act begins the process of deeper repair that builds over time. As we reach the end of this lesson, let us step back and see the full picture. Seeing your skin does not age randomly or helplessly. Every line, every change in texture, every loss of firmness is a reflection of what is happening beneath the surface in your hormones, your fibroblasts, your mitochondria, and even your liver. Understanding this root cause perspective changes everything. It moves the conversation from temporary fixes and superficial creams to real lasting solutions that work with your body's natural biology. We started by exploring why castor oil alone, while nourishing and anti-inflammatory, is not enough to fully support collagen, improve elasticity, or reduce wrinkles. Then we introduced the transformative companion oil, rose hip oil, and examined how together they enhance fibroblast activity, neutralize oxidative stress, and strengthen the skin barrier. You see simple analogies, gardens and roofs, springs inside mattresses to help visualize how these oils act at the cellular level. Next, we connected these topical interventions to the internal systems of your body, your insulin, your mitochondria, and your liver. When your metabolism is balanced, your cells have the energy and resources needed to repair, rebuild, and restore. This is why lifestyle factors, gentle fasting, nutrient-dense foods, hydration, sleep, and circulation are not optional. They amplify the effects of the oils and create an environment where your skin can thrive from the inside out. Finally, we translated all of this into a clear, actionable routine. Nightly application of the castor and rosehip oil combination paired with metabolic support and barrier strengthening strategies gives you a structured approach that is simple to implement, yet grounded in science. These steps are natural, non-invasive, and sustainable. And they address the root causes of aging skin, not just the surface symptoms. Here is the empowering truth. You do not have to accept thin, sagging, or wrinkled skin as inevitable. You can support your collagen, enhance elasticity, protect against oxidative stress, and strengthen your skin barrier. You can work with your body's biology rather than against it. Even starting with one step tonight, massaging your face with the oil combination, adjusting your evening eating window, or focusing on nutrient-dense foods begins a cascade of repair that builds over time. So, here is your challenge. Pick one change today, commit to it. Feel your skin, notice its hydration, observe its texture, and track how it responds over the next few weeks. Combine this with steady, consistent use of the oils and internal support, and you will begin to see real, measurable improvements. Skin health is not magic. It is physiology, and it is yours to influence. If this content added value, like the video, and subscribe to join a community of women who are learning to optimize their health naturally from the inside out. By taking these steps, you are not only supporting your skin, you are supporting your energy, your metabolism, and your long-term health. And that is the most empowering outcome of